we can consider our first question. So which of the following is equivalent to 15 by 25? It's a very simple numerical question while we are considering what is 15 by 25. Here we know that both these values are multiples of 5. While simplifying this one, this is 3 times of 5, this is 5 times of 5. So here the most simplified value, that is option 3. So that's an easiest one. So consider the second question here. 5 by 6 of an hour is equal to. So while observing the set of options here, we know that the options are, except the first one, all are in minutes. So here we just consider 5 by 6 of an hour. So that we can consider like this, 5 by 6 of, so what is 1 hour? 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes. So this is simply 5 by 6 into 60 minutes. So here we can simplify this one. This is 10 times, right? So therefore, after simplifying here, we will get this is equal to 50 minutes. So the answer is option 3. That's an easiest one. Here we are considering the conversion, 1 hour equal to 60 minutes. Which of the following is incorrect? So is incorrect. So that we have to consider. Here is a tricky question, means maybe it's a time consuming, because in all these situations we have to find out the squares of numbers. Here we have to check whether this 72 square is equal to 5184, 38 square is equal to 1444, 125 square is equal to 15,625, or 35 square equal to 1296. So whether there are any easy approach towards such a question. So what is our first type of approach? You have to consider the square of each number. Like that, you have to reach the conclusion. So here, how to do the operations? I am considering it's in the direct way. That is, what is 72 square? So how to find out 72 square? That's very simple, normal multiplication, 72 into 72. Like that, you have to do the operation. I will teach you an easiest way to reach the conclusion or finding the square of numbers by using the expansion of the identity a plus b the whole square. So here we know that a plus b the whole square. What is a plus b the whole square? It's expansion. So that is a square plus 2ab plus b square. So by using this expansion, we can find out the square of 2-digit numbers. So here what you have to consider, you just consider our answer have 3 places. You have to start our operation from right side. So here you have to consider this 7 is A and 2 is B. So instead of B square, you have to write that is equal to 2 square. So this is 2 square. Only for this first example, I just write down the entire step of operation. For the middle one, that is 2ab, 2 times of 7 into 2, that is 2ab. And the last one, that is a square. So while we are considering the output here, this is 2 square is equal to 4. So what is this one? This is 28. And what about this one? This is 49. And how to find the square of 72? By using this trick. So for finding the answer, you just write from right side each digit. You just write this 4 here. That is a unit digit of our answer. Then write this 8 here, that's the second digit. Therefore, this 2 as I carry forward to the next step. So what about the next step? That is 49 plus 2, that's equal to 51. So here we got the square of 72 is 5184. So it's matching. Got it? It's satisfying the condition. By using the same trick, you can find out the square of each and every value. So here we have to consider 125. Instead of considering 125, I am moving to 38 square by using the same method. Correct? By applying the same method, if you are considering what is 38 square. So what you have to consider? Your first step, that is 8 square. And the second step, 2ab, 2 into 3 into 8. And the last step, that is 3 square. What is 8 square? That is 64. So this is 64. So this is 6 into 8, 48. This is 9. So take only one digit here. So our answer's unit digit is 4. The 6 as I carry forward here. So that is 48 plus 6, which is equal to 54. So write the next digit as 4. Then this 5 as I carry forward here. 9 plus 5 is equal to 40. So that is 1444. That is 8 square. So that is also matching. So move to the next two-digit number, that is 34 square. So consider what is 34 square here. So you have to start from right side. So that is 4 square. Now I am directly writing the value, that's equal to 16. 2ab, so that is 24. And the last one, that is a square, which is 9. So therefore write 6 here. So 1 towards here, therefore 24 plus 1, 25. 2 is carry forward, 9 plus 2, 11. So we got 34 square is equal to 1156. But it is given as 1296. It's incorrect. Therefore the answer is option 4. So this is the way to find out the square of a number. Through that way we are reaching the conclusion. So while considering such a number, here the number 125 will teach you how to find out the square of the numbers which will end in 5. That's another tricky one. So the numbers end in 5. For example, 5 square. We know that that's equal to 25. And suppose if you are considering the next number, such number, that has 15 square. So for finding this 15 square, you just write 25. That has the last two digits. Only for finding the remaining part, you just multiply this 1 with its immediately succeeding number. That is 1 into 2. What is 1 into 2? That is 2. Therefore, the square of 15 is 225. And similarly, if you need to find out 25 square, so what do you have to do? You just write 25. That has the last two digits or the rightmost two digits of such a square. And for finding the remaining portion, just multiply this 2 with its immediately succeeding number. Its immediately succeeding number means 2 into 3. So that will be equal to 6. And similarly, if you need to find out 45, what it is, last two digits 25. Its immediately succeeding number 4 into 5, so which is equal to 20. By using the same logic, if you need to find out what is 125 square, so first you just write 25. So this 12, its immediately succeeding number, multiply. So here we know that this is equal to 156 and 25. So like that way also we can reach the conclusion, that is 15625. This is a trick to find out the square of numbers which will end in 5. So like this way you can catch the answer. So there are lots of other ways to reach the conclusions, some of the tricky ways. So some ways here we have to consider the unit digit of the numbers, but in this case all the unit digits are satisfying the conditions. Next we have to consider the factors of the numbers. For example, while observing this number 34, its square should contains the factor of 34. Like that way also we can catch. So which are the factors of 34? 17 is a factor. If you are able to make it sure that this 1296 doesn't contain 17, so we are sure that's not the square of 34. Like that way also we can catch it. So consider the next question. The number nearest to 99547, which is exactly divisible by 687. For finding this one, we just consider the normal division. 99547. We are dividing it by 687. So here we know that one time, the 687. So consider the difference here. This is 8, 0, this is 3, 308. Put this 4 here. So how many times does 687 lies in 3084, right? Yeah, it's 4 times. So this is 4 into 7, 28. 2 is there. 32 plus 2, 34. 3 is there. 24 plus 3, 27. So then the difference we just consider 6. So this is 3. So this is also 3. So therefore 3, 3, 6, 7. Suppose here if you are considering this is 5 times. I am considering this as 5 times. 5 times. So simply check what is 5 times of this value. That's equal to 35. So 3 is there. 43. 4 is there. That is 34. So here what's the condition? This product is greater than this value. That means it won't lies here 5 times. It lies here only 4 times. Even though we just consider how much we have to add to this number to get this 3435. That we have to consider. So that's the difference between these two values. That's the difference between these two values. How much we have to add? Good. So here we know that 8 plus 7. So that is equal to 15. Clear? So 7 plus 6, 13. So we have to add this value 68 to this number to make it as a multiple of 687. Got it? So like that we just consider. If we are adding 68 to the original number, then we can make that value as a multiple of 687. Therefore, we can consider our required number. So that is simply given number 99547 plus 68. So this is 151699. So the answer is 99,615. So this is the answer. So understand this logic. Here we over-calculated here. That means estimated here. So actually in 3,367, the 687 lies exactly 4 times. But we know that that value is quite nearest to 5 times. So therefore we are approaching the values like that because we are going to find out which is the nearest to value or the value nearest to this given number. It's a multiple of 687. Then the next question, 20% of a number is 10% of dash. So here, 20% of a number, that is x, this is equal to 10% of which number? We have to express that number in terms, or this value in terms of x. So how to convert this one? Here we know that, so only the requirement, product of these two values equal to product of these two values. Clear? That's a simple logic. So 20 into x equal to 10 into question mark. So 20 into x is equal to 10 into something. So therefore, what is this something? So that is 20x by 10. 20x by 10. So which is equal to 2x. What it means, that is double. As x as the number, as x the number. So this 2x is double the number. So therefore, our answer is double the number. Got it? So like this way, we can catch it. That's a simple logic here. The product, if these two expressions or the values are same, that means the product of these two values is same as the product of these two values. The selling price of a certain commodity was reduced by 25%. As a result of it, the sales increased by 30%. What is the effect of it on cash collected by daily sales? So at the initial time, while approaching such a kind of question, you have to consider those two components. So which are the components? Selling prices there and the sales quantity there. And we know that the selling price, that means the unit price, and the sales quantity, the product of these two components will be the net revenue. Got it? So, or the daily sales cash. So how to consider this one? This one, first I am considering what is the variation occurred on selling price. Selling price, it's reduced by 25%. You just simply consider initially that was 100 rupee. It's reduced by 25%. Therefore, it's become 75. And the sales quantity. So we just consider sales. What happened? It's increased by 30. So that means initially 100 units sold there. Now it is 130. Like this way we can consider. So therefore, what is the revenue here? So what is the effect on cash collected by daily sales? So therefore, that is revenue or the cash collected by daily sales. So that is 100 into 100. This is 100 into 100. And this is 75 into 130. So these types of an operation, we can simplify it with the like terms. So that's also possible. Otherwise, you just simply multiply these values, then find out what is the variation here. Like that way also we can find out it. So here I am considering this is 100 into 100. This is 75 into 130. Instead of simplifying these values, so we just consider how to multiply these values together. So therefore, what is 75 into 13? So like that we can consider. So this value is 10,000. And this value is, put this 0 here. 3 into 5, 15. 1 is there. 21 plus 1, 22 plus 5, 27. 2 is there. So this is 9. So it becomes like this. It becomes like this. Then we have to find out what happened here. If it is 100, this is 97.50. If it is 100, this is 97.50. Like that, you just visualize it. If it is 100, this is 97.50. So why we have to consider that as 100 for finding the percentage variation? So 100 rupee, it's become 97.50. What is the decrease here? So there is a decrease of 2.5, or that is 2.5% decrease because this base is 100. So therefore, our answer is 2.5% decrease. This is one direct way to reach the conclusion, but there is a most effective trick and quick way to reach the conclusion of such a question. That's the concept of successive variation. Concept of successive variation. Successive variation. So in such a situation, here we know that two components, that means sales price and quantity, the product is expenditure, means total revenue. In such a situation, suppose here we just consider sales price into quantity of sales. So that is equal to revenue. In similar such situation, if the sale price is decreased by X%, quantity is increased by Y%. It's a successive variation situation. Then what's the variation occurred on revenue? That is, this is decreased, therefore put that value as negative. This is increased, therefore put that value as positive. So one is negative, another is positive, hence the product becomes negative, that is XY by 100%. So this is the net variation. If this output is positive, that is increase. If it is negative, it is decrease, like that. So here, this is the basic result. If you are applying this one, so here the percentage values are, this is 25%. Here the value decreased, 30% increase. So we can substitute here. So this is minus 25 plus 30 minus 25 into 30 by 100. This much percentage. So this is minus 25 plus 30, that is 5 minus. So this will be equal to 7.5. So that is equal to minus 2.5. So what is the conclusion here? That is 2.5% decrease. That's a successive variation application. You can apply this result for finding the variations like this. So what is the general result? If a quantity vary by X%, then vary by Y% successively, then the net variation is X plus Y plus XY by 100%. So this is the result. In this result, if the variation is increased, you have to put the value as positive. If the variation is decreased, you have to enter that as negative. So like that, you have to consider that operation. By using that result, we can find the answer directly. Next question. What is 90% of 90% of 100? 90% means 90 by 100. 90%, that is another 90 by 100 of 100. What happened? Here you can cancel these two zeros. So this 0, this 0, this 0, this 0. So finally what it will become 9 into 9. So that is 81. Clear? So this is one way. Or we can consider is in another way. This is a simple question actually. So that you just consider 90% of 90% of 100. Suppose we are starting from here. What is 90% of 100? That is 90. Then we have to consider this one. This is simply 90% of 90. As we know, 10% of 90 is 9 itself. Therefore, 90% that is simply 9 into 9. So that is 81. Like this way also we can guess the answer directly. So that's a very simple calculator type question. Alan bought a watch with a 20% discount on the label of the price. He bought it with 25% discount. He would have saved rupees 500. At what price did he buy the watch? So here, we just consider on the labeled price. Therefore, first we are considering what is the labeled price, or that is the marked price. So marked price of this article as 100. So here Alan bought it for a certain price. So that as the cost price one. That is actual cost price that he bought. Therefore 20% discount, therefore this is 80. And there is an expected additional discount. That means suppose if he received a 25% discount, so then the cost price become 100 minus 25, that is 75. If he received such a discount, then there is a decrease. There is a decrease of how much rupee? 500 rupee. So this 5 is representing rupees 500. 5 is representing rupees 500. Then what we have to find out? At what price did he buy the watch? So then what this 80? Correct. So observe the operation here. As this 5 represents 500 rupees 500, this 80 representing how much? So here we know that 5 into 100 will be equal to 500. Or you just put 2 zeros additionally on the right side of that value. Here also like this is after this 80, put 2 zeros. So therefore the answer is rupees 8,000. Tom bought 10 pencils at the rate of 25 rupee and sold them at the rate of 8 pencils for rupees 30. Find the profit percentage. It's a most typical kind of question, but easiest one. So it's one of the rate problems in profit and loss. How to apply this rate problem concept here? So here the situation understand cost price of 10 pencils is equal to rupees 25 and selling price of 8 pencils at rupees 30. This is the situation. So we have to make these two quantities equal. So how to make those two quantities equal? For making those quantities equal, so you just consider these two numbers, you just multiply with the first ratio with 4 and the second ratio with 5. At that time what will happen? These two values become equal. So why we have to make them equal? Because it's a case of rate. So at this rate he purchased a certain quantity. He sold them all. The entire quantity he sold out. Then we have to find out the profit percentage or loss percentage. Here for that purpose I am multiplying this entire equation by 4. That means that multiplication applicable over here and here. And this one, this is multiplied with the 5. So then what is the change occurred here? This first ratio, so our first equation will be changed like this. Cost price of 40 pen, so that is 100. Selling price of 40 pen, so that is 150. So like this way we can consider. So 40 pen, both the values are equal. So you just observe this 100 as cost price and selling price is 150. So what is the profit here? So 100, it's increased to 150. Therefore 50 rupee profit out of 100. Therefore that is same as the percentage of profit. So that profit is 50%. So here the percentage of profit is 50%. You don't forget this one. This is cost price. This is cost price. And this is selling price. So from cost price to selling price, what's the variation? So that's an increase of 50%. Hence the answer is 50% profit. So interestingly, this type of questions we can catch with another one method also. I will teach that method. Here the trick behind this question, we have to equate these two values. By using the same logic, we can catch this type of questions. This is rate problems. This kind of questions easily. You first of all, you just write this one. Cost price of 10 pen, rupees 25, and selling price of 8 pen, rupees 30. You just simply make a cross multiplication here. Multiply these two values. So that is 25 into 8. Actually, you don't want to waste your time to multiply them. Keep it like this because after this step, we have a simplification process. So then multiply these two values. So this is 30 into 10. Then after this step, we have to consider this is the value representing cost price, that is the net cost price, and this represents selling price. For finding the percentage of profit or loss in such a situation, actually we don't want the original set of values. Instead, if the ratios of such values are also useful for finding the percentage of profit or loss. For that purpose, we have to simplify these values. Here we know that 5 times of 5. So this is 6 times of 5. Got it? This is 1 time of 5. This is 2 times of 5. This is 1 time of 2. This is 4 times of 2. This is 2 times of 2. This is 3 times of 2. Finished. Further simplification is not possible. So then after that, we can consider the remaining values. This is 1 into 2, that is 2. This is 3 into 1, that is 3. So these are the values representing the cost price and selling price. So therefore, if 2 is cost price and 3 is selling price, there is a profit of 1. So therefore, we can easily find out what is the profit percentage here. So this 1 is what percentage of 2, because the cost price is expressed as 2. So therefore, this is equal to 50%. So understand this method of cross multiplication for finding the answer of similar type of questions. Okay, then move to the next question. A sum of 400 amounted to 480 in 4 years. What will it amount to if the rate of interest is increased by 2%? Here, 400. Its amount to 480. It occurred in 4 years. So in 4 years, it's increased like this. That means 80 rupee increment here. So therefore, here we just consider it's increased by rupees 80 here. So it's occurred in 4 years. In 4 years, at a certain percentage, that is R% per annum for 4 years. Correct. So logically, we just think about the situation. Suppose the new situation. So that is R plus 2% for 4 years. So what it will become? That we have to find out. So here, this is a net increase of 4R%. So this is a net increase of 4R plus 8%. So our focus should be here, 8%. So 4R% means that is 80 plus. What is 8% of this 400? So what is 8% of 400? 8% of 400. So that's equal to 32. How to find out it? What is 8% of 400? So 8% of 400. So that is simply 8 into 4. So which is equal to 32. So therefore, we got this is equal to 8 plus 32. That's equal to 112. Therefore, 400 plus 112 will be equal to 512. So that's the simple logic here. Correct. So this way, we can catch the answer. So therefore, without doing too much complicated calculations, by using the simple trick instead of this additional 2%, it's for 4 years. Therefore, totally there is an increase of 8% in the profit or the interest that we have to consider. So if the rate of interest is increased by 2%, then there should be a cumulative increase of 8% in the rate, means net effect or the net simple interest rate here. So this is based on simple interest. Don't forget that point. Clear? So by using this trick, we can easily find out what is the variation here. Then the next question. Equal sum of money are lent to Mithun and Christian at 75% per annum for a period of 4 years and 5 years respectively. If the difference in interest paid by them was 150 rupees 150. The sum lent to each was. So equal sum of money are lent to Mithun and Christian. 75% per annum for a period of 4 years and 5 years respectively. So whenever we are considering this type of question, the question didn't mention that whether it's a case of simple interest and compound interest. That's a very important understanding. If the question didn't specify the thing, whether it's the case of simple interest or compound interest, by default, it's a case of simple interest. By default, it's a case of simple interest. So while we are considering 75% per annum, so what is the interest paid by Mithun and what is the interest paid by Christian? So this is 75% for 4 years and this is 75% for 5 years. So what is the difference in their interest rate? So that is simply 75. So this 75% means that is 75% of the principal. So it is given that difference is rupees 150. So this is 150. Think about 75% means 3/4. 3/4 of the principal is 150. Then what is principal? So that is 150 divided by this value. This is 3 into 4. So what it will become? So that is 50 into this value. So this one 75%. If it is 75%, so that will be equal to 200. But there is not any option like this. Therefore, we have to consider instead of this is 75, this is 7.5. So therefore, what is the difference here? These all are 7.5. So if it is 7.5, this becomes 3 by 40. Therefore, 150 into 40 by 3, so that will be equal to 2000. So here the answer is rupees 2000. Clear? So that's a tricky approach towards this type of question. Now move to the next question. What will be the compound interest on 8,000 for 3 years at 5% per annum? So what you will do? So in such a question, if you need to find out what is compound interest, we know that the result for amount only available under this compound interest, this is 1 plus r by 100 the whole raised to n. And for finding the compound interest for n years, so for n years, so that is, or the net compound interest, so that is equal to amount minus principal. That means first of all, you have to find out what is this amount. Then after that, you have to subtract the principal value from that amount. That's the usual way, but we are considering it in a simple way. That means here the principal, so that is 8,000, and the rate of interest is 5%. So you just consider what is the first compound interest. Here the first compound interest is very simple. That is 5% of principal. Do you know how to find out 5% of 8,000 easily? What is 10% of 8,000? 10% of 8,000? 800. If 10% of 8,000 is 800, 5% means half of that value. So what is half of 800? 400. So it's easy to find out what is 5% of such a value. Understand how this second year's compound interest differ from that of the first year's compound interest. Second year's compound interest is first year's compound interest plus 5% of that value. That means 5% of first year's compound. Like that, it will increase. So therefore, what is 5% of 400? That's the next point. So 10% of 400 is 40. Therefore, 5% means 20. Therefore, this value is nothing but 420. And similarly, what's the compound interest for third year? So this is 420 plus, so 5% of 420. So it's again easy to find out. 10% of 420 is 42. So 5% is 21. So just add it here. That is 441. So just add all these values together. So this is equal to, here if you are simplifying this one, this is 1, 4 plus 2, 6, 4 plus 4 plus 4. So that's equal to 2. So the compound interest for 3 years under means at 5% per annum rate is 1,261. This is the easiest way of approach towards such a question. Otherwise, we have to consider first the amount as per compound interest result. Then after that, you have to subtract the principal value from amount. At what simple interest rate shall a sum of money double itself in 4 years? Simple interest. So here, when we put rupees 100, it becomes 200. It becomes 200. So you have to consider what is the net rate of interest increase. So here, 100% increase reported. So you just invested rupees 100, it becomes 200. That means it's doubled itself. In 4 years, So this 100 is the net rate. Net rate means 4 into rate of interest is equal to 100%. So that's the cumulative or the net interest. So we can easily find out what is this R. R% means 100 by 4. 100 by 4%. So what it is, this is equal to 25%. Clear? So the answer is option 3. So like this way we can catch, you just understand this difference. If it is double, that means 2 minus 1. You just consider it like 200 minus 100, that is 100. That's the net rate of increase here. If A is to B 3 is to 7 and the sum of A and B is 45, find the value of B. So here, if A is to B, so that is 3 is to 7. And the sum is 45, therefore the value of B. So you can write it as 7 by 10 of 45. So why it is like this? 7 by 10 because 3 is to 7. So we just separated that 45 in the ratio 3 is to 7. Therefore, we have to find out the value of B. That is 7 out of a total of 10 equal portions. So that is 7 by 10 of 45. For finding this one, first of all, you just multiply these values together. This is 5 into 7, that is equal to... So never simplify these two values because we have to keep the denominator as 10 because that's a convenient step of operation for the decimal type of operations. Therefore, if you are simplifying like this, simplifying these two values, then it will take time for the further step of operation. But in this case, it's not a big issue. Suppose if you are considering this one, 9, this is 2 because it's a division by 2. So therefore, this is 63 by 2. Then you can easily find out this is equal to 31.5. Like this way we can catch. So that's equal to 31.5. Got it. Next question. If ratio of shares of Manu and Udit is 2 is to 7, what is the ratio of Manu's share to the difference between Udit and Manu's share? So here, Manu and Udit. So that is 2 is to 7. What we are going to find out? What is the ratio of Manu's share to the difference between the shares of Udit and Manu? So it's a simple question. Here why we are considering this one. So you can directly consider the values. So here, this instead of M, you just consider that as 2. Instead of U minus M, you just consider that as 7 minus 2. So therefore, this is 2 is to 5. Like this way we can catch. Understand, in some situations, there may be a trap. So what is a trap here? Actually, we don't have the right to take this M as 2 always and this U is 7 always. Instead, what is the actual way here? Actual way of approach. Here, if M is to U, 2 is to 7, you can take M is equal to 2x and U equal to 7x. This x is called multiplicative factor. So therefore, the new ratio, M divided by U minus M. So instead of writing it in the ratio form, I just write it in the fractional form. You just consider this one. This is 2x minus U minus M, that is 5x. Here we know that this x becomes simplified or eliminated. That's why we will get a unique conclusion here, that is 2 is to 5. If you are sure about that step, this multiplicative factor that will be simplified, then you can directly find the answer through this way. Or directly substitute like our first type of approach. When it will become a complicated thing, if you need to find out m divided by u into m, at that time it will be in a complex situation because the multiplicative factors won't be eliminated. So here the ratio of two numbers 19 is to 26. If 2 is added to the small number, then the ratio becomes 3 is to 4. What will be the larger number? So here the first point, this larger number is a multiple of 26. That's a simple logic here. So here we are going to find out the larger number. The larger number is a multiple of 26, as well as the larger number is a multiple of 4. So think about it. There is not any variation occurred in the case of larger number, only that addition by 2 applicable on smaller number. Therefore, that logic we are applying here. So larger number. So two conclusions we can make. So it is a multiple of 26 as per the first ratio. It is a multiple of 4 as per the second ratio. Just observe how many of the multiples of 4 and 26. So it's easy to catch the divisibility by 4. 91, it's not a multiple of 4. 104, it's a multiple of 4. 130, it's not a multiple of 4. 78, it's not a multiple of 4. Yeah, easily we got the answer. Got it? So this 104, that's the only multiple of 4 here. By using that simple trick, we can easily catch the answer of similar type of questions. Then what is the usual method to reach the conclusion of such a question? Here these two numbers are 19x and 26x. So we are assuming like this. Those numbers are 19x and 26x. What happened here when we are adding 2 on the first number? Only for the first number. 2 on the first number. So what happened here? This new ratio becomes 3 by 4. You can find out the value of x. Good, like that we can do it. So we just simplify this one. So for multiplying this one, here we know that the common term, this 26 and 4, here we can cancel it with the 2. So then cross multiply it. So while doing the cross multiplication operation, so this is multiplied by 2 and these are multiplied here. Got it? Though simplifying this one, that is 38x plus 4. So that is 39x. So what you will get? X equal to 4. So therefore, which is the largest number? We assumed the largest number as 26x. So therefore, largest number, so that is 26x. So which is 26 into 4. So that is equal to 104. Clear? So this way we can catch the answer. So that's the multiplicative factor finding method. So that's a conventional way of approach, but it's better to apply that logical method for finding the answer. Clear? The next question. The sum of 3 numbers is 51. The ratio of the first to the second is 44:5. And the ratio of the first number to the third number is 1:2. Then find the product of the 3 numbers. Here, those 3 numbers we just consider, those numbers are A, B, and C. I just consider those 3 numbers. Ratio of the first 2 numbers, first to the second. So 4:5. And the ratio of the first to the third, that is 1:2. So understand the way to write the numbers here. Those 2 ratios in 2 rows we are writing. So then after that, for finding its combined form, what do you have to do? So here 4 and 1. So only in the case of A we have 2 values in 2 rows. So just multiply them together right here. That is the value of A. So B here, so we just multiply B with this value. This is 1 into 5 right here, that is 5. And 2 here, that's the value of C, representing the value of C. But you have to multiply it with a 4, therefore that is 8. This is a way to combine these 2 ratios. So ratios are A is to B and A is to C. So like this way. we can combine. So these are the ratios. It is given that sum of these three numbers is 51. Find the product of the three numbers. So we just find out what is the number here, which means which are the numbers here. Here, this 4 is representing how much, 5 is representing how much, 8 is representing how much. It is given that their sum is equal to 81. So simply think about what is the sum of these three ratio values, that is 4 plus 5 plus 8. So that's equal to 17. So it is given that the sum is equal to 51. So think about 17 into 3 will be equal to 51. Therefore, what is 4? 4 into 3, that is 12. 5 into 3, that is 15. 8 into 3, that is 24. So these three are the numbers. Then, what is the next step of operation? We have to find out the product of these three numbers. Therefore, the product of these three numbers. So here we just consider the product of these three numbers. So here the product is 12 into 15 into 24. 12 into 15 into 24. Just observe, which should be the unit digit of this operation? Like that, simply you just consider. So what will be the unit digit of this operation? So that will be equal to 0, right? So therefore, look at the options. How many of them ends with a 0? So there is only one option here. So therefore, that will be the answer. So the answer is 4320. Good. Like this way, we can reach the conclusion. This is a trick of combining ratios. Understand that combining ratio process. Next question. Alan can do a certain job in 12 days. Joseph is 60% more efficient than Alan. Joseph can do the work alone. So first of all, we just consider what is the ratio of the efficiencies of Alan and Joseph. So Joseph. Good. And how that will affect the number of days. So if we are considering their efficiencies, it is given that Joseph is 60% more than Alan. Therefore, if it is 100, this is 160. Or simplified one, this is 5, this is 8. Correct. If these are the ratios of their efficiencies, that means when Alan can complete 5 units of work on a particular time or a certain time period, Joseph can complete 8 units of work during the same period. So therefore, here the time ratio. So if we are thinking about the same quantity of work, at that time, ratio of the time, that is the inverse of the time of their efficiencies. As we got the efficiencies of these two persons is 5 in the ratio 5:8. Therefore, the time requirement for the completion of a constant work is 8:5. And which data is available here? Alan can do a certain job in 12 days. So this 8 is representing 12 days. Then 5 is representing how much? So like this way we can catch it. 8 is representing 12 days. Then 5 is representing how much? Or like this way, we can catch the answer. Or there are another ways of approach also possible. Then how to do this one? And from here, we can catch it. So here, this is 8 is representing 12, 5 is how much? So this is simply 12 by 8 into 5. Got it? That is 12 by 8 into 5. So what it will become? So that's equal to. So after simplifying this one, this is 3 times of 4. This is 2 times 4. So therefore, this one is equal to 15 by 2. So that is 7.5 days. So that is 7.5 days. Clear? So this is one way. Then after that, instead of finding this time ratio, how we can apply from this efficiency ratio? So here, this efficiency ratio, how it is? These are efficiencies. That means Alan, his efficiency is 5, and Joseph, his efficiency is 8. So Alan required, this time, we just consider, this time it will be in the form of the result. So Alan, his efficiency is 5. He required how many days? 12 days. And Joseph, his efficiency is 8. So how many days required? Suppose that as X days. So what is the result here? Product of these two values should be equal to product of these two values. That's a simple logic. That is M1 into D1 equal to M2 into D2, like that. So therefore, X, from this step, what is X? X is 5 into 12 divided by 8. Now we are familiar. What is the step of operation after this step? Here the answer is 7.5 days. Okay, then consider the next question. 24 men can complete a work in 16 days. 16 women can complete the same work in 24 days. In how many days? 8 men and 6 women complete the same work. So here, 24 men, they can complete a work in 16 days. And it is given that 16 women, they can complete the same work in 24 days. Okay. From this step, we have to consider this 8 men and 6 women condition. Suppose we just consider from the first statement. If 24 men 16 days, then 8 men, how many days they can finish the work? So that's a simple logic. Product of these two values equal to product of these two values. Therefore, for finding this one, what you have to do, that is, you just multiply this 24 and 16. This is 24 into 16, divide by 8. Got it? So that's a simple method, because the product of these two values should be equal to product of these two values. So we are saying about the same quantity of work. Therefore, if a work 24 men required 16 days, then what's the time required for 8 men? There is another one way also here. We know that this 8 is 1/3 of 24. Just multiply this 16 by 3. If we are reducing the efficiency as 1/3, just multiply it by 3. So that's the same process here. So this is equal to, while we are simplifying, this is 3 times 3 into 16, or otherwise simplify the 16 also. 3 into 16, that is 48 days. Got it? That is 48 days. Similarly, 6 women, how many days they required? 6 women. So there also the same logic. Product of these two values equal to product of these two values. Therefore, what is the step here? This is 16 into 24 by 6. So this time we can simplify these values. This is 4 times. What is 16 into 4? That is 64. So they required 64 days. Then what's the time required for 8 men and 6 women? So then 8 men and 6 women, how many days they required? There we are applying an important result. So what is the result? If A alone can complete a work in X days, B alone can complete the same piece of work in Y days, then in how many days A and B together can finish the same work? You can directly apply the result, that is XY by X plus Y days. XY by X plus Y days. By using the same logic. Here 48 days and 64 days separately. So therefore this is 48 into 64 by 48 plus 64. Got it. Then how to simplify it? Here either we have to add it, or we know that all these values are multiples of 16. So I just simplify it like this. Here we know that this is 16 into 3. So this is 16 into 3 plus 16 into 4. So that simplification should be like this. Then after that, here we got, this is equal to 3 into 64. That is 3 into 4 is equal to 12. 1 is there. This is 192 by 7. So then simplify this one. What is 192 by 7? So here, so 2 times of 7, that is 14. 5 is there, 52. 52. 7 times of 7. So that is 49. Then 3 by 7 is there. So that is 4, 2. So this is the answer. So therefore the answer is 27.4 days. It's a bit calculative and it's a little more concept-wise approach. So once you are familiar with these all basic things, that is M1 into D1 equal to M2 into D2. So like that. So those areas, based on those areas, we can catch it. So here, we cannot simply consider this one, product of these two and product of, it's not like that. Only the thing, product of these two things equal to product of these two things. Why? Because here we are considering the men. So their efficiencies differ from the efficiency of women. Therefore, we cannot compare these two situations. Only these two situations we can connect. And similarly, these two situations we can connect. Got it? So that's the practical approach towards this type of questions. And the next question, the square root of 0.4. So how to find out it? Here we have to find out what is the square root of 0.4. So that's an interesting thing. I just give some insights about this concept. So what is square root of 4? What is square root of 4? As we know, the square root of 4 is 2. So therefore, what is square root of 0.04? So then only it is 0.2. Got it? So this 0.4 is in between these two situations. That means our answer is greater than 0.2 but less than 2. Got it? Like that we have to answer. Greater than 0.2 but less than 2. So by observing that point itself, you can catch the answer. Out of them. So our answer is therefore, this is 0.4. That's a simple trick. So this is definitely greater than 0.2. And this is definitely less than 2. That's one of the logic. So this is exactly equal to 0.2. Therefore, that won't be the answer. And this is less than 0.2. That's not the answer. This is again less than 0.2. That's not the answer. Therefore, the answer is none of these. So that's one method. Or the another method is in the reverse approach. Reverse approach. What is the reverse approach? From the options we have to catch. Here this is 0.2. So what is 0.2 square? So that is 0.04, not 0.4. So 0.02. What is 0.02 square? 0.0004. Because we need 4 digits. Because in this base it contains 2 places, decimal places. Therefore its square should contain 4 places. So then what about 0.025 square? As we know, the square of 25 is 625. But here we have 3 decimal places. Therefore, its square should contain 6 decimal places. So put 3 zeros here. So this will be the answer. These are not equal to 0.4. Then how to find out 0.4? That I am not going to explain here. The 0.4, you have to consider the long division method. That's something different from these all values. Clear? So the answer is none of these. So here, the square, this we already explained. So here the answer is none of these. Okay, next question. If x plus 1 by x the whole square equal to 0, then the value of x square plus 1 by x square. So here, if x plus 1 by x the whole square equal to 0, then we can easily catch what is x plus 1 by x. X plus 1 by x equal to 0. Correct. So like this way, we can catch it, or otherwise, by using this idea directly. What is the expansion here? X plus 1 by x. What is the expansion? A plus b the whole square. So that is a square plus b square plus 2ab. So like that, this is x square plus 1 by x square plus 2ab. 2 into x into 1 by x. So that is equal to 0. So this x become eliminated. Therefore, x square plus 1 by x square plus 2 equal to 0. What we are going to find out? We need to find out x square plus 1 by x square. So here x square plus 1 by x square. This is equal to minus 2. So we got the answer directly. So there, these types of questions, you have to keep one important results in your mind whenever we will have such a situation like this. If x plus 1 by x equal to k, then x square plus 1 by x square. So that is always be equal to k square minus 2. So here, this we have x plus 1 by x the whole square. So that is k square minus 2 directly. Here that is 0. So this is a useful result in the area of algebra for most of the questions. So consider this question. Two similar triangles. How? So what is the speciality of similar triangles? Suppose we just consider two similar triangles. So this is one triangle, or here we just consider. So this is one triangle, and we have to consider. So instead of thinking about the situation like this, we can draw the triangles here. Correct? Suppose two triangles we just consider. So this is one triangle. Correct? So we just consider another one triangle. So these two triangles are similar. These two triangles are similar. So what is common in these two triangles? If these two triangles are similar. So therefore, this angle is same as this angle. So this angle is same as this angle. And this angle is same as this angle. Here we are sure the angles, corresponding angles are same. Not sides, not area, only the case of equal angles. Equal angles in the sense corresponding angles are equal. Corresponding angles are equal. That's only the condition. So what is similarity? Similarity means they are similar in shape, but not equal in size. It can be equal. It can be equal in size. If the size is also equal, then those two triangles are called congruent triangles. So this is the case of similar triangles. Then the question is, a cistern can be filled in 9 hours, but it takes 10 hours due to a leak. In how much time can the leak empty the full cistern? So that's a simple logic here we just consider. So if you are considering a cistern, so this cistern is filled with a certain pipe. So this pipe required 9 hours to fill the tank. But there is a leakage. So therefore, it will take a certain time. So this we have to find out. Suppose that is x hours. We are going to find out this way. It is given that the total time, this entire process will take 10 hours. Then what is the efficient, or what the time taken by this leakage alone required to empty this tank? So in such a situation, the required time we can easily find out. Therefore, the required time is simply what is their individual time. So that is 9 hours, 10 hours. So that is 9 into 10. And what is the difference between their time? That is 10 minus 9. So that's it. That's the time taken by the leakage alone to empty the cistern. So that's a direct approach. Suppose if both the pipes together required x hours and the inlet alone required y hours, then what's the time taken by outlet alone? At that end, that will be equal to, so 9 into 10 by 10 minus 9. So that is equal to 90 hours. Got it? Like this way, we can catch what's the time. Got it? So that's a simple type of approach here. So that's the same concept we considered in the case of combined efficiencies. A alone required this much days, and B together required this much time. Then what's the time taken by B alone? There also we are applying the same kind of approach. Now we can move to the next question. A man rows 13 km upstream and 28 km downstream in 5 hours each, the velocity of the stream. So here we just consider what is upstream speed. So what is the upstream speed? So upstream speed usually denoted by the letter U. So 13 km upstream in 5 hours, therefore 13 by 5 km per hour. And what is the downstream speed here? So we don't want to find out its numerical conclusion. We can directly find it, downstream speed. So that is 28 by 5 kilometer per hour. So how to find out the speed of the stream? So here, speed of stream. For finding the speed of stream, that is half the difference between upstream speed and downstream speed. So this is simply 28 by 5 minus 13 by 5 by 2. So what about this one? 28 minus 13. That is 15 by 5 by 2. So 15 by 5 is equal to 3. Therefore, this is 3 by 2. 3 by 2. So what it is? 1.5 kilometer per hour. 1.5 kilometer per hour. So the answer is option 1. So these are the selected set of questions from CUET model exam quantitative aptitude part of the numerical ability part. Of these all questions, so you can easily manage because the questions are not much challenging while we are comparing with the rest all the set of questions. So these are easily tackled type of questions. And here also some of the questions from this birds and streams, pipes and cisterns, time and work questions. So there we can, there's lots of questions. We identified some important questions from the area of time and work. There you have to consider a concept plus result-based approach. Like that you have to practice it. And this set contains lots of questions from the numerical ability part. Most are easiest type of questions, especially how to focus on the area of squares and square roots. So like that also you have to prepare well. Right now we can wind up. Thank you.